The meeting to order. And sorry. Better? Can you hear me?
A little bit closer.
Can you hear me? All right. Can you hear me?
Very well.
All right, thank you. All right, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Why don't we take a moment of reflection? If you are the praying kind, just say a little prayer for our two applicants tonight that have submitted their resumes to become the next trustee of the Bedford Charter Township. And we'll just take a moment of reflection. Thank you. We'll do a roll call.
Supervisor Bodie.
Here.
Clerk Bracco here. Treasurer Davis. Here. Trustee McKay.
Here.
Trustee Menke.
Here.
Trustee Hoskins. Here. 6 present. We have a quorum.
Excellent. So in a rush to get the agenda out, I accidentally left off the approval of the agenda. So the approval of the agenda to have any additions, subtractions, or changes would be next on the agenda. Or anybody that would like to make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
In a second. Okay, excellent. And then discussion. I have, I erroneously left the public comment out for agenda items only, which would be next after approval of the agenda. And then nine is still that, and 11.
Old number 8 says agenda items only, and that should be the regular one.
That's
Right.
correct. And I do have a clean copy if we do vote to approve the changes. I do have a clean copy to make it look a little better. So
Okay.
for all of you, I apologize. I'll get this down. Any other discussion, other changes to the agenda? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Excellent. The cleaned version is approved. Let me get that to you.
Oh, there is a correction there.
On the corrected
date.
version.
On the corrected
Yeah,
version, the date's wrong and the time.
good catch.
What was that catch? It was the date.
On the top right. Should say May 5th. 5:00 p.m. Any other errors that you see? Okay, with that correction of the date and time to the agenda, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay, now we have public comment for agenda items. Anyone have any public comment for agenda items? Next is our interviews, and I'm happy to report that we did receive 2. Pardon?
Where's the motion to accept?
Oh, I'm
Motion.
so sorry. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Pardon? On the original it was, and it was not transferred over to the finished. So the first motion would be to accept the signed resignation submitted by trustee Stacy Greenwood on April 8th of 2025.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, motion, Shannon.
And then we need a roll call, right?
We do. It can be a voice vote or a roll call. Doesn't matter.
You want a roll call?
Roll call is fine.
Treasurer Davis.
Yes.
Trustee McKay.
Yes.
Trustee Menke.
Yes.
Trustee Hoskins. Yes. Supervisor Godey.
Yes.
Clerk Baraco. Yes. Yes, motion carries.
Thank you so much. Next on the agenda is the interview for trustee seat on the board, and we received 2 resumes, one from Crystal Smith and one from Scott Blanchard. We received both of their resumes. You all have been able to review both of them?
Okay.
I think what we'll do is we're gonna start over on the left with trustee McKay, or trustee Meineke, sorry, on my left. Trustee Meineke is going to start with the questions, just so our interviewers know this is a rating, so you'll be rated 1 to 5, 1 being the best. So when at the end, when we score them, the low score wins on this one. But we're gonna ask some questions. It's up to you if you want to come up further, or if you want to answer from your seat, whatever works for you. And we're going to start with Scott Blanchard, Mr. Blanchard.
Should we have Crystal go outside while we interview one?
Sure. Are you comfortable doing that? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Please.
I'm comfortable with either way. She's a resident too, so.
That's great.
Still no. Still no.
So we have 11 items that we're going to ask you, and of course, you would be able to elaborate on any of these that you would like. And like I said, what we'll do is add the scores up at the end, and then we will move to a roll call to name our trustee. Trustee Meineke, you want to start?
Okay. Experience in government employment? No.
Just as a volunteer, I've served on the East Leroy Volunteer Fire Department. I was a probationary member on Bedford for a little bit. Other than that, I've worked mostly private sector.
Okay.
And what, how long have you been a Bedford Township resident?
Oh, let's see. Going on 27 years. We moved here when my son was 1.
Do you have any experience in working on boards or governance committees, or any of that experience?
I served on the board of directors for an ambulance service that's no longer here anymore, Emmett Rescue. I am the president of the Battle Creek Masonic Temple Finance Corporation, which coordinates 5 different bodies for the operation of the building. I serve on the Southwest Michigan Advisory Board for the Scottish Rite Masons. And then I've served as body head for a number of Masonic organizations. I was also the district commissioner for the Boy Scouts here in what we would call the Nottawa Trails, or Calhoun Branch County. And then I've worked on different boards throughout the state for the Scout.
Great.
I see the education, but I also can see it in front of me. Would you like to elaborate on your education a little more for anybody else out there?
Yeah, so I started out with an associate's, actually a certificate program as a paramedic. And then after some time in remote areas, I went back and received an associate's degree in nursing from Kellogg Community College. I received a bachelor's degree in nursing from Spring Arbor College. And I've gone back and done a little bit of teaching at Kellogg as an adjunct PMS instructor. I've also done some precepting for Siena Heights for their nursing program.
My question is gonna be professional background. Anything else you can add as far as?
I'm currently a nurse. I spent 13 years as an emergency department nurse. After COVID, the staffing challenges that came about with that, I switched to a different job area. I now work in patient safety and quality, so I work a lot with governmental regulation, standards with Joint Commission, Medicare, Medicaid, and process improvements for the 4 Bronson regional emergency departments.
Thank you.
I get the good one. Can you give an example of a situation where you had to handle confrontation? Or I'm sure you've got plenty, but can you tell us about how you handled a confrontational situation?
We deal with confrontation all the time in the emergency department. The thing is that you have to keep your head cool when other people aren't. The person who loses their cool first can't respond appropriately. We have, let's see, let me distill this down into one incident. I was in charge for the department for the day, had a patient who was there for a psychiatric behavioral emergency. Just didn't want to stay. There was a petition signed and certification that they needed a inpatient observation. Nurse comes to me and says, "Hey, this is going to be a fight. He's not going to let us give him the med." So read through the chart. Security was they kind of stack up at the door and go in and do the holds and all of that. What I did is I asked them to stand back. And I went in as somebody that the patient hadn't known and hadn't had an issue with. And I just sat down with them, keeping myself between the patient and the door in case I had to get out. But at the same time, I said, "Hey, look, this is kind of where we're at. I know you don't want the medication. I can't let you go. There's guys out in the hallway that are going to help us give it to you. Nobody wants that. Help me help you." He let me give him the medication. So just being cooler, using reason, level tone. Yep.
Thank you.
This is back to me again. Motivation. What do you do for motivation? I mean, what's motivated you to be on the board? What?
I've been motivated recently by some of the animosity that I've seen. I had an acquaintance who was planning to run for the board. So in my organization, we show support, whether that's through, "Hey, you got this," or a come stand by and be there to support. And just in doing that, I was verbally attacked by an individual. And I didn't like that. I did speak to him that night. But I also saw some back and forth from the board toward this individual as well. And I get that some people just wear down on you, but if we drop to their level, then nobody wins. And what I'd like to see is the positive work of this community move forward and leveler heads prevail and just be able to approach people where they're at and try to work together cooperatively, and if not, at least disagree in an amicable manner.
Thank you.
Okay, volunteer experience. I see a page full of volunteer work, but anything you'd like to add to this?
No, just that I grew up as a scout. My dad really stressed servant leadership. I've worked to do service my whole life. I was an EMT before I was a high school graduate. I used to, in an entirely different world that doesn't exist now, after school, I would answer emergency calls and dispatch ambulances until I was old enough to ride on them. And, that's just how I've done things. I participated in road cleanups. I've participated in the scouts. I've been a direct leader. I've helped take care of kids when I didn't even have one there. It's just, if we don't work together to make our community better, well, then who's going to?
Good. Do you have any mediation skills?
So mediation skills formally, I've not taken any formal classes on it. Well, I'd have to take that back. I have had conflict resolution, de-escalation training. As far as, business mediation, no, not so much. I've been a leader in an emergency department. I've been a field training officer in an ambulance. I've done my share of conflict resolution. As far as have I done contract mediation or anything like that? No. If that was something that was required, I'm sure that I could be trained for that.
Great, thank you.
I know you've already covered reasons for applying for the position. Did you wanna give it another go, or it's on the paperwork for a question?
Oh, that's fine. Again, I want to see the good work of the community move forward and do so in a professional manner. And I'm not saying that it hasn't been professional, but I've kind of seen some digs from that end of the room as well that could have not happened and wouldn't have been nearly as inflammatory. So, I think it becomes really difficult to work with people who are determined to be difficult. But that's where you have to dig down and try to find a suitable way to approach the situation. As far as motivation, I live here. I want the township to succeed. Not wanting chaos is like rooting for the bus driver to have a heart attack while we're going down the highway.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, references provided. I'm sorry, I didn't see any references on your.
No, I can provide you with several. I don't typically do that with a resume, but I can provide those.
Okay.
Well, do you have anything for us? Have any questions for us?
Let me turn this around on you. What is it that you're looking for?
It's a great question. Me personally, what I love about this board is we all communicate pretty well. And I think that everyone sitting here today, and I would imagine tomorrow and after, everybody here's first goal is to do what's right for the township. We want our township to succeed. We want to help our citizens succeed. And I know that with whoever sits in the chair between Trustee Meineke and Clerk Fracco is going to be the same. So that's what we look forward to.
Very good.
Any others?
Same thing. We're just looking for cohesiveness everybody can agree to disagree,
Correct.
and still get along.
Professionalism.
Yeah, and I think that's great. I think you have a great resume.
You do.
Mhm. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you
Appreciate
so
it.
much.
Yeah. So moving forward, what's our?
So we will bring in, Ms. Smith,
Mhm.
and then we will interview her.
Okay.
And then, we'll total up our scores. And we'll go with the lowest score,
Are we gonna call them or
Or-
will they know what are we doing?
or we can do that tonight.
I don't-
Are you able to stay for?
I know you have another-
I have an appointment at 7, but I think it's just up in Hickory, so I think we'll be fine.
If we
Okay.
get you out by 6,
Great.
that'd be all right. Okay,
All right.
perfect. Thank you, Scott.
Let me go get Ms. Smith. Oh, thank you.
Probably not putting points in for number 11, correct?
That was my
No,
question. Yeah,
yeah. Same with 0.
I suppose.
Yeah.
good.
I wasn't sure how to handle that one.
Yeah.
They're both the
I
same.
wasn't sure how to handle
I put
that
a
one.
0.
Hi there. So the way that we're gonna do this is we're gonna start over on the left. Trustee Meineke will ask you the first question. We have some standardized questions. Like I said earlier, there's 1 through 10 that we're going to ask you. We're gonna go through the questions and just answer as you can, and we'll go from there. And then he just asked about finding out. At the end of this, we're gonna score these. These are objective items that came from the Township Association and our township attorney to do interviews for trustees. And so when we finish that, we'll add up the scores and then we will name the new trustee, okay? All right.
All right, experience in government employment.
I have none whatsoever. Length of time as a Bedford resident.
That's tricky. I lived here with my now husband, from 1990 to 97. And then we moved out into Penfield, had our kids, raised the babies and everything, and then just bought his father's house about 6 years ago and we're living here again.
Okay, so about 13 years.
Yeah, roughly,
Okay.
yeah. But I come here every Thanksgiving and Christmas for the last 30 months.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to ask, what brought you back to Bedford?
Honestly, Bedford is kind of a little diamond in the rough. It really is. I get kind of sad talking to people about it because they just say, oh, Bedford's just a, drive through, just pass through. And I'm like, really not though. You've gotta be here in Bedford. Like, to me, my husband tells me, he goes, Crystal, in your head, it's like a Hallmark movie all day, truly. And that's what Bedford kind of feels like to me, because we lived in Penfield for a while and that really grabbed me. Because I loved the ball field over there. It, to me, felt like a Hallmark movie in there. And so, but it's like when we had to leave, we had to leave. Our kids were out of the house. I wanted to move away from there, but not too far, It's just the house has too many memories now. It's getting empty now, it's really bad, getting depression from it. So we decided to, buy my husband, dad's house and we just live there again. Cause it just felt like him anyway,
That's good.
Do you have any experience in being on a board or any governance experience at all?
And I don't know if you would call it like governing experience, but we were, head for our Boy Scout troop. I was a den mother and my husband's den father. I was on the PTA all the time. My kids were in school. And believe me, that if I can handle that, I can handle this. Let me see. I volunteered in the classroom all throughout my kids being there. Yeah, other than that, no. That's about it, yeah.
Great.
In your education,
Mhm.
can you elaborate on that a little more?
Sure. Okay, so I went into the nursing program because everybody told me I was a great nurse. I was at a point in my life where my kids were now going into their teenage years, and I was like, I need to work now. I don't need to be a stay-at-home mom. And so I was just kind of like in this place where I'm like, what should I do? I think at that time I was just starting my dog grooming again. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, okay, I'll try nursing. I'll see what that's like, you know? And I think I had it build up in my head. Like I was telling that gentleman, I'm like, things had it build up in my head. I was like thinking of like, you know, a nightingale and wiping the brows. And it was just not what I thought at all. A lot of paper pushing. I've seen a lot of people there, a lot of nurses being cruel to each other. And I'm just like, I knew it wasn't me. I knew it wasn't. So, but I am a professional student.
Always happens, right? Yeah.
I gotta put that on vibrate. Yeah, I love going to school. I learned. I'm literally considered a library. I've just reached over 1,000 books. That's
you.
all I love to do. I love reading. I love learning. I like this job. If I get this, I mean, I might not know anything now, but give me a month and I will. I'm not scared to try anything ever. You know, I'm always the first woman. I've done some things where I go, we won't talk about that, you know. But everybody goes, wow, it took so much guts. And I'm like, yeah, it was embarrassing though. But yeah, you know, he came to me and he was telling me about it and everything. And I was just like, you know what? Yeah, let me try. Let me see, you know, see what it's going to be like. Because I love doing stuff for my community. And my business right now reflects that. You know, I actually asked everybody before I came here, where do you live? Where do you live? How many people come from Bedford? And more than half of my vendors are from Bedford.
Awesome.
Well, that's
And I was
really
just
good.
like, woohoo, brownie points, you know? So, you know, I do. I live in a Hallmark movie and I want my community to be happy and fun. And, you know, I want that to reflect in everything I do. So I not have a lot of experience, but that's what I do have.
Thank you.
Oh,
Professional background, I see that you have had some businesses, different ones. Can you elaborate a little bit about those?
sure. The first business I ran, that was mine and I wasn't a manager of, was Crystal Cannon File in Penfield. And I ran that for about 9 to 10 years roughly. I had to give that up. I started getting carpal tunnel because I had been grooming since I was 15. We started off, I groomed with Linker Learning Center, Sherry Thomas Linker. We went all around the country and doing shows and stuff, and I learned how to do it. I was literally just a kennel person, and I would follow her around, and everybody's like, come on over here, I'll show you how to groom. Come on over here, I'll show you this. And so I just picked it up really fast, and I started doing it with her, and ended up opening my own business because I thought, oh, I'm gonna go work at Petco. And you know, when you're working on, you know, show dogs that you go to Petco, that's not a good fit for a person like where I came from. So I told my husband, I said, I think I need to open a business. And that was my first time. Terrified me. My first week, I felt like I was going to throw up the whole time. I was so afraid nobody would come, you know. Oh my God, I'm going to be a failure. Nobody's going to come. But they did. And I ended up with well over 500 clients in my whole time. And might not sound like a lot, but for one person grooming, that was a lot.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot to me.
I have 2 large dogs, so I
Yeah.
appreciate you.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then, let me see, one of my friends asked me to apply for a job at Walgreens, and they said they're looking for an assistant manager. Please, we need one so bad. So I thought, cool, I'll work with my friend, you know, and I did. I worked there for about 2.5 years, and good Lord, I have not cut out for that kind of retail at all. I get my feelings hurt on a daily basis. I really do. With unreasonable things. So I left there after 2.5 years. I started my consulting business. I set up actually the grooming salon in Penfield, Topic Impressions. I set up their whole grooming area. Bart Fifth Avenue over off Oakland in Kalamazoo. I set them all up and everything. And the job basically entails me finding the groomers, training the groomers, setting up the grooming salon, ordering everything they're going to need on a daily basis for the next year. And then also at Marks Fifth Avenue, she was having a tough time with finances, so I went through her book, seeing where her profits and losses were coming from, seeing if we could trim back, basically. And so and literally that first year, we saved almost 30 grand by going through that. So, that was a big deal. And her dog grooming in the back, we ended up with 4 groomers, and she ended up making over $250,000 a year. Just in grooming. Wow. It was, where she's at is such a prime location. I wish I could buy it. I really do. But yeah, she's doing really good.
Thank
Good.
you.
My turn now.
He always has the fun ones.
I, Professor. Can you give me an example or give us an example of a situation where you had to handle some kind of confrontation, perhaps with a client, customer? Just tell us how you handle it.
You know, all confrontations are the same. They all are. I've been through a lot of them. I've been through owning my own business, owning others, or running other people's businesses out in public, and people just want to be heard. They just want to be heard. They want you to say that to them, so they know that you heard them. And you know, if you can't help them, send them to somebody that can. You know, I've been through the ringer when I was in high school because I said the wrong thing, did the wrong thing. And so as I got older, I realized how much to say and how much not to say. And I think that helped me in conflict, and the resolution process of it kind of is born out of that, because I don't like to be cruel and I love to listen, and I don't want people to think I don't like them. You know, I want them to know, how can I help you? Whatever you need me to do, I will purposely try to help you. So I mean, there have been times where you get some people that it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. And so you just say, okay, well, you know, if you have any other issues or anything that I can actually help you with and you want help from, then you can come and I will help you with those. But I mean, all conflict is the same. It's just people wanting to be heard. That's it. It's just a problem. If you can't help them, you point them in the direction of somebody that can, you know.
Thank you.
Motivation. How do you get motivated? What's motivating you to be on the board?
Honestly, I like channeling I really do. I like being the first in my family to do stuff. Life is worth living, you know, you gotta go for these things. You know, I was, okay, so embarrassing. I was a ring girl for the Tough Man, Tough Woman contest downtown in Bella Arena many, many moons ago. I won karaoke contest at the old Gary Fields Comedy Club. I literally would go for everything I possibly could. I played in the college powder puff, so I was playing football. I opened my own businesses. I was the first one to graduate high school out of my mother and my sisters. Just like, I guess, I don't know. I don't want to feel like I failed at living at all, you know? I mean, that's pretty much it. That's what motivates me every day. You know, I tell myself sometimes in the morning, I'm like, oh, you could just sit here and just let the day pass you by. And I'm like, okay, no, that's what my mother would do. And how well that worked for her. So I would get up and I drink my coffee and go about my day. You know, there's no motivation needed. You just gotta want to live life. So.
Let's talk about volunteer experience.
Oh, sure. Let me see. I volunteered in my kids' classroom. My husband and I were then parents for the Boy Scouts, which was kind of weird because my husband dropped out after the first year and I was the only female as the den leader. But it was fine. They were all really good and everything. The fathers and mothers, they did not mind that I was a woman running it. So, and nobody else did either. Let me see. Oh, geez, Pete. I volunteered for a lot of years out of Humane Society, giving free grooms for the dogs. That's while I was doing all my grooming. And once that stopped with my business, it pretty much stopped with them too. Always helped our kids do volunteer work like river cleanup. We went down there and helped them with that. Yeah. I can't even honestly think of anything else. I really can't.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Do you have any experience with mediation? Do you have any mediation skills?
My whole life has been a mediation skill. My whole life. I've had to fight for everything I have, I fight for that loan because I'm the woman and my husband made more money, why don't you have your husband come in, and it just goes back to the resolving of the conflict. You gotta know how to communicate with people, you gotta know that they are gonna be, they have to know that you listen. They have to know that if you're in the position to be able to help, you're going to at least try. Mediation to me is just basically kind of resolving conflict all day long, and I've literally done it my whole life. So, and I'm not gonna pull a woman card. I promise I won't do that.
It is. The reasons for you applying for this position?
Yeah. I didn't even know it was up, honestly. I have been working so much. I lost my mother 3 weeks ago and I had her.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. She had a beautiful death, so it actually, I think that helped us a lot. So it like literally this last month, it's just been, actually this last 3 months since we moved her in with us and everything, but honestly, I'm like, you know what, I just gotta keep going. And I've always told my kids, I just told my son, he's 33, my oldest. I told him about a month ago, I'm like, you know what, you are so good at public speaking and everything. You should try for local politics. And he's like, I don't want to do that, Mom. I've never had the interest to go into politics. I'm like, why, And he's like, oh, it's all BS, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, that's where change happens in the world, and he's looking into it. So it was funny because after you came and I told my husband, I was first laughing it off. I was just like, yeah, like I'm going to be there, And my son goes, really? You've been trying to get me to do this for how long? Why can't you? And I was just like, well, I don't know. And he's like, I think you'd be good at it. And I'm like, I don't know anything about it, So I did. I will tell you, I went on the website. I looked. You have no mission statement on there.
I know, that is something we're gonna be working on this year, but
I'm like, I want to be in Brownie.
I'm glad you said that, yeah.
But, he told me, he's like, what, are you scared to do it? And I'm like, no, I'm not scared to do it. And he goes, well, then go for it. And then my husband goes, you may as well. And he's like, you do everything else anyways. And I'm like, okay, why not? Let's try it. So I went on and I looked at all the legal terms you guys talk about and what they mean and how I would fit in as a trustee and stuff. And I'm just like, oh yeah, I just totally do that stuff. That's like literally my life, So, yeah, that's pretty much why I'm here,
Awesome.
References I see provided, there weren't any, should we just take that off? Because neither one really. provided
Yeah,
references.
yeah, let's
We
not
just wanted
cover
to
it.
ask that, yep.
Yeah.
I can give you a number of them, like a ton of them. It's up to you guys whether you want them or not.
I think yeah. We're
Sure. Do you have anything else that you want to add or any questions for us?
Yeah, like for a trustee, like how often are you here? Like what does the workload look like daily? Is it daily? Is it weekly? Is it monthly? That's what I don't understand, like, how often I would be here, because I do run a business. So,
Sure.
but I do have people. that
You
work for
guys
me
can
too,
answer
so.
that probably better than,
Sure, we have our one meeting a month. We sometimes have emergency meetings, not often. Things like that, this comes up like this that we need to be here for, but we usually have a pretty good amount of time to get ready for it as well. Usually not too quick. Even emergency meetings is pretty noticeable that we get that. So it's not really truly demanding that much.
So if I wanted to be here more to learn more, would that be an option or no?
Sure.
that sure would be.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know what the job would entail, truly, but,
There is training.
okay.
There's training classes with
Oh,
MTA.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are members of the Michigan Township Association and they offer those. They also have books that kind of goes over the responsibilities for each elected official, which is extremely helpful.
Yeah.
For all of us. But
I'll
yeah,
definitely have to get one of those if I do get the
Yeah.
position.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, you can only see so much about what a trustee, it's almost like every township is different. They have different set of rules, different set of interview questions. Yes, I did work.
And we're always available for questions.
Yeah.
I mean, sure.
Perfect.
Do you guys have any other questions? So what we'll do is we'll add these up and we'll go around the table and give our scores, and then we will notify you, and we can bring Mr. Blanchard back in.
Do you want
Should
me
we
to go
do our
out for
scores
now? Or you guys
without
want
the
me to-
pardon? Should we do our scores without them?
Just
we have them both
yeah,
right
we
now.
can.
You just got 'em all.
That's how many, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we're taking up to 11, right? We're not including that, okay.
Oh, so they're backward here, okay. Got a calculator.
Beginning one, so long, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I have yours all scored.
Yes, I do. Sorry.
Signed.
I got my first one because I thought 5 was,
I know.
I did too.
I like it better with the.
Yeah, they were here.
Why did they go up?
Thank you. Into the 3. I love numbers. Yeah, an account.
I'm smelling whole.
It's you.
Oh, is it? Okay. You came back from the vacation.
She said it's her bio free.
I just.
No, yeah, I'm gonna say the same thing. That one.
So everyone knows there's an election tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Through Battle Creek Schools. Want to make sure to go vote. Mr. Spence.
I can't. You can either, can you? You want to take something?
I don't think so.
I mean, don't like.
I'm sorry. I am. Yeah, I am.
You are?
Yeah. I am. Mhm.
Thank you. She was talking to you then.
Oh.
You'll vote tomorrow.
You take notes, girl. Okay.
You'll have to shift. It didn't work well.
They were both good interviews.
They were,
Yeah.
okay. Anybody else want to double check this?
You too, yeah.
We both did, and we used the calculator, which is always right. And so, I don't know if we announce it before they come in, or,
We can see it. Maybe you should look on it. Oh, no,
Who was the lowest?
At 8:05.
okay, I'll go get them.
thank you.
You guys are with the microphones working?
Yeah, some of it's better, yeah.
Is that good? All right, well, come on.
Let's keep this just in case.
That's okay.
Well, we want to thank both of you for submitting your resumes to us, for taking the time to come and help us learn to get to know you. And we really enjoyed the interviews with you two. So thank you very much. I think the next item on the agenda would be a roll call vote to appoint Scott Blanchard as our new trustee. There a motion?
Make a motion.
Motion.
I'll second.
All right.
Who?
Shannon.
Shannon, okay.
Yeah.
Interest.
And, yeah. All right. Is there any discussion?
Thank you, Crystal. We do appreciate you coming in as well, taking the time out for this. Absolutely. Yeah. Tough decision.
It was.
It was.
Both did really good.
Yes, you did. And I want to highlight, we're very happy that you have a business in Bedford Township called Artique on North Avenue.
Which you still need to come.
I will be there, I promise.
I'll come.
I promise. I heard it's awesome.
It's awesome.
So good. Yeah, thank you very much and congratulations to you. And we all look forward to working with you for sure.
Yeah.
Any other discussion?
So our next meeting is our.
Let's do a roll call
We have
real
to
quick
do a roll
and
call.
then, yeah, roll call vote.
Trustee Hoskins,
Yeah.
trustee Mindfree,
Yes.
clerk Baraco, yes. Treasurer Davis,
Yeah.
trustee McKay,
Yes.
supervisor Bodie.
Yes.
6 yes, motion carried.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is any public comment.
Welcome the new trustee to the township.
Yeah.
Great.
Does he come in tomorrow or sometime this morning?
Yeah, I mean, before the next board meeting.
Yeah.
Our next board meeting is next Tuesday. So we need to get you sworn in before then.
Yes, ma'am. Tomorrow is. Sorry, I looked by my calendar. I have a meeting at 7, but, I could come in between 5 and 7, if that is convenient.
At night or in the morning?
Oh, tomorrow is election day. Probably tomorrow's not a good idea.
Or during the
Yeah.
day.
Is there any other day this week? that
Actually, it's
you
fine.
could come in?
It's fine.
Are you sure?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Between 5 and 7?
And you laugh, but I'm typically up at 4 AM, so.
We'll be here.
Proud.
We'll be here.
You always want to be here.
You dropped something out of your pocket also.
We'll be here.
Let's see, I've got a meeting Wednesday evening at the same time, but I'm available again in that 5 to 7 timeframe. I'm available anytime after work on Thursday.
How about tomorrow?
Tomorrow
Tomorrow.
would be wonderful.
Yeah, you're here all day, Joyce, right?
Right.
For election,
You're all
so
day
you
for
can stop in.
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we are at the personal privilege time for elected officials and trustees. Trustee McKay?
I'll start over here.
I am.
Mm.
Thank you both again for coming. And, Crystal, don't give up on township government.
Okay.
Yes. I
You
mean,
know, I might go for state though.
Go for like that.
but it's quite a process
Mhm.
and it's not easy. And you both bring excellent characteristics on a slightly different angle. So it's really nice. So glad to have you both here.
Yeah.
Trustee Hoskin?
Again, Crystal, thank you so much. We appreciate you coming in. Welcome aboard, Scott. We're looking forward to working with you. And again, this is a agree to disagree policy here, and everybody's gonna work very well together, and I think you're gonna be a good asset to us.
For sure.
Mhm.
I would like to say thank you for both of you coming as well, and we look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Trustee Monkey?
Thanks again, both of you. Glad you made it. You both did good. Congratulations to you and We'll come see your business someday.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah,
we
that's
will
right.
support.
Thank you.
Big market on the 14th, so make sure you come.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh.
about 30 vendors and food trucks.
oh,
Wow.
When 98.
Say no more.
Gonna be there.
Excellent.
yeah.
May
so
14th,
June.
June 14th.
Yeah, keep in touch with us and we'll,
Oh,
will be.
my son's making up the flyers. I'll bring them down.
Okay,
Excellent.
awesome.
Yeah.
please.
So we appreciate you both interviewing. We look forward to working with you and I'll visit your shop. I will.
There's a lot of cute stuff there.
I've heard all good things.
Yeah. Is the refillery open now?
It is. Yep, and I just added hyaluronic acid. So for face and everything, low and high molecular, so whatever you need. So yeah, there's a lot of really good stuff in there.
Like that.
Thank you.
Yes, right.
So and I'm the last, to say anything. I want to talk to you after the board meeting about the zoning board of appeals. Because
So me,
we need a member on the zoning board of appeals,
okay.
and maybe you could help us out on that.
Would I qualify though?
Are you a Bedford Township resident?
Yeah.
Yes.
But I don't really have any political experience. I think that's a big reason I didn't get this.
So we'll talk and
Okay.
see, but maybe we can get you involved.
Oh, great.
I'm looking forward to working with you, Scott.
Look forward to it as well.
Good.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Meeting's adjourned, and I'm doing it at
Do we need a motion to adjourn?
5:52.